One of the most unique things about the NEXUS rifle system is its ability to change calibers. We do that through changing the barrel, the bolt head, and also the magazine box. Here's a list of things you're gonna need to swap the barrel on your gun. First, we're gonna need a torque wrench with a T25 Torx bit. We're going to need a new bolt head if you're switching from a Magnum to a standard or vice versa. We're gonna need the mag box for your new caliber. And we'll also need some copper or nickel anti-seize. To get started on this whole procedure, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the bolt out. We're gonna make sure that the bore is clear. We're gonna take our magazine box out of the gun. Okay, next, we're gonna position the rifle so that we can get to the bottom of the firearm. So we're gonna start with taking the action screws out of the gun. About 4 revolutions. Okay, and then this is the wedge screw. All we need to do is loosen that. After that, we're going to take the stock off of the gun, and that's going to expose the clamp screws on the action. So we have a very tight fit engineered between the action and the barrel joint. So what we've done is we've engineered a way to open up the action. There's actually an E-clip on this middle screw. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the front and rear clamp screws. We're going to back those out 2 full revolutions to give that action room to open up. Then we are going to loosen the middle screw, and we're going to keep going until that E-clip touches the inside of the action here, and it'll open up, and then your action is loose and it can come off the gun. Then what we're going to do is grab our new barrel, and we're going to position it so that you can access the threaded hole on the bottom. So the barrel will come with an O-ring, and its purpose is to basically seal the action in the barrel extension from dirt and debris. So what we're going to do is roll that O-ring into the transition between the barrel and the barrel extension. Then we are going to push the action on, rotate it until it's indexed. And the next thing you want to do is take your bolt and insert it into the firearm and close it. And what that's going to do is the trigger is going to grab onto the firing pin, and then the tension in that assembly is going to pull these 2 components together, and that's going to true up your lugs on the inside of the barrel extension. So you'll notice the trigger has a void sticker on it. Do not tamper with your trigger at all. The trigger is set at the factory for your 3-position safety. If you ever find yourself in the position where you need to get your trigger serviced, give us a call and we'll get you taken care of. Then we're going to take our torque wrench, we're going to set it to 60 pounds, and we're just going to go from the rear to the front and torque those to 60 inch-pounds. And then as you tighten each one of these screws, by the time you get to this one, it's lessened the tension on this first screw. So we want to do this 3 total times. Okay, so now that we got our barrel joint torqued down, next thing we need to do is, this is a good opportunity to apply a little bit of anti-seize. So we're going to put a little anti-seize on the front and rear action screw holes. Then after that, we're ready to put our stock on. So when you put your stock on, the wedge, what I like to do is push down and kind of rock the wedge out of the way so that you can have that clear and so your stock drops into place. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is put a little bit of anti-seize on the action screws themselves. So we want to put a little bit on the threads, and then we also want to put a little bit on the underside of the head. That's basically going to make sure that when you go to swap your barrel next time, that you can get those action screws loose and they don't try to bind up or gall on you. Okay, now that we have our action screws in, again, we're just going to go finger tight on these. Okay, we're going to make sure torque wrench is set to 40 inch-pounds. Start with the rear action screw. And then we're going to torque these 3 fasteners down to 40 inch-pounds. And I like to go through and just do it a second time to make sure I've got the proper torque. Okay. So once we have the stock torqued down properly, this is where we're going to take our bolt out, and we are going to swap out the bolt head if needed. This is only going to happen when you're switching from a Magnum caliber to a standard bolt face or vice versa. So we've got a detailed video that details how to strip your bolt. Basically, to do that, we're going to take our shroud out, and then we are going to pop the bolt head retention pin. We're going to grab our new bolt head, insert it in. So to put the bolt back together, you'll find cutout on the bolt body has a D shape to it, and then also the pin has a D shape. So what we're going to do is insert that, and we're going to line up the flats, and then that whole assembly is going to go back together. You're going to start kind of on top of where the bolt handle is. You're going to depress the firing pin and then rotate a quarter turn counterclockwise until it clicks into place. Okay, once we have our new bolt in, we're going to put it forward. Okay, so once you have your bolt in, you're going to put your magazine box in, and after that, you're ready to go to the range. One thing that's pretty common is you will probably see a point of impact shift going from caliber to caliber. One pro tip there would be to kind of map your change from caliber to caliber so that you can kind of anticipate what's going to happen when you get to the range. After that, you're going to re-zero, validate your ballistics, and then you're ready to go.